I don't really want to either.
But why do you?
Because I feel like it's maybe socially like polite, but I don't really want to be socially polite.
Yeah, but like what? Maybe I don't think it's socially polite. I think you're like you're asking for something immediately. You're like, shake my hand. My whole thing is, I don't know where the hands have been. I don't know what you've been doing. And then I go out into the world after I shake your hand. I touch my face. I'm touching my things. I touch my phone. I don't want that.
I don't blame you. And then you meet our producer who like probably off 3 times a day. Like, who wants to shake his hand?
Oh, that's so sweet. 3 times a day?
Yeah, so you're
that's
like
self-love.
He came up to me today. He saw me and gave me a big hug. I was like, ah.
Yeah, but then that's just on your clothing. That's not on your hands.
True.
That's actually pretty polite.
Maybe in your hair.
So when did you decide not to shake hands?
After COVID.
Okay.
I mean,
Done.
it's still going on, but we don't care.
I heard it's rampant right now in LA.
It's not good. My grandpa currently has it.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. He's thriving. He's 95 and he's been gardening. So, he's got
Damn, good for him.
time for himself now. He doesn't have to deal with people. He could be alone. But yeah, like COVID, we stopped shaking hands. And then I was like, oh, I like this. But it is funny because people will go to shake my hand and I just won't move and I'll smile. Or I try to have things in my hand. And then I just sometimes will just say, I said to you, I don't shake hands. I'm so sorry.
Do they ask why all the time?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Germs.
Well, I think it was such a social norm for so long. And then there was a period where obviously during COVID it was like, do not even come close to me. But now we've gone back. People quickly forget. I think it used to be, Taylor, didn't it used to be like you'd shake hands to confirm that the other person didn't have a weapon on them or something like that? I think that's how it originated.
Then I should be shaking hands here in America.
Yeah, because now you don't know what I got.
No, I don't. And you could shoot me dead in the...
Or I could just pull out a giant sword. You never know.
And decapitate me. I mean, I had a good life. Whatever.
I think that's how it started, though.
It's my time.
I want to know what
talking.
the audience thinks about not shaking hands. I'm all for it. I don't need all those germs on my face.
But let me ask you this. If you say you know someone, do you give them a greeting of a shake or a hug? Or it's like,
I'll do a hug.
If you know somebody.
Yeah, a hug's fine. Even if I don't know you, a hug is fine because my hands aren't touching your hands. I'm touching your shirt. That's fine. Our faces aren't really getting too close. Yeah.
No, but it would have been very awkward if I just saw you in the hall and went aggressively in for a hug. That would have been. You don't think so?
Yeah.
No, because a hug it's a greeting.
Oh, should have hugged. Should have hugged.
Handshake is no longer greeting. Hug is the move.
Taylor's taking notes. Okay.
I mean, it's just me. Some people really love a handshake.
Hugs.
Yeah, you're trying to give hugs left and right.
Taylor, you are not allowed to hug anyone in this office.
Poor Taylor.
For any of the listeners who want to get to know you a little bit better, give us a little bit of an introduction, what you do, how you started. Give us the whole spiel.
Okay. I am an actress. I do podcasts. I'm a comedian. I do improv. I write. Yeah, and I got started at UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York City. Then I moved here. My first show that I got was Girl Code on MTV, and that's what a lot of people know me from. And then was just like bipping and bopping, and I had a show at MTV that 6 people watched, and then I got Nailed It, and then I was on a show called Grand Crew that I think was prematurely canceled. It was on NBC. So yeah, I think that's pretty succinct.
A lot of people don't understand how gnarly being a comedian is. It's a lot of work. I cannot imagine the pressure that you feel to get on stage and have to make people laugh. How did you even like get yourself out there to do that in the first place?
I'm a silly Billy. I'm always giggling. It's my favorite thing to do. I guess it's just one of those things where you come up with an idea and then I have a ton of comedian friends and I'll be like, is this funny? And they're like, yeah, it's funny. And then you get on stage and hopefully it works. Honestly, I think doing comedy is a cry for help. You left your house at 8 p.m. because you need attention. That's sad.
When you get up there and something doesn't land, what do you do? Do you have a pivot? Do you have a plan?
Sometimes I'll go, why don't you like it?
What do they do?
I mean, I've gotten an answer a couple of times.
They like stop and say, I'll tell you
they'll
exactly.
be like, not relatable. I'm like, oh, okay. Or like, we don't get it. And I'm like, oh, maybe I have to just phrase it differently. Or if I go, why didn't you like it? And then I'll start riffing and figure out why they didn't like it. And then once they laugh and I record my set, so then I'll like listen to it back and I'll be like, oh, they laughed at that part. So maybe if I put that part in the beginning and then put the beginning at the end, maybe that works better. And then you try it that way and you're like, ooh, solve the puzzle. Or you're like, maybe I put it this way. It's just like, it's like a Rubik's Cube until you get all the colors right.
What I find most interesting about comedians and the work that you and other comedians do is it's like one of the only mediums where you don't have a choice but to go out and fail a bunch of times, right?
Yeah. Yes.
We've had a lot of comedians on, and I think people don't understand how, I mean, most people are so scared to even share an idea or ask the girl or guy. Like, you have to literally go out and fail over and over and over and get comfortable with that. I think that's the most interesting thing to me about it, is it's like most people just aren't conditioned to deal with any kind of micro failure, let alone doing it consistently many times over.
Yeah. And then you learn, like you'll do a club and you'll have 5 or 6 shows in the weekend, and the show will work on, say, Thursday. Both shows it works. Friday, the first show works, the second show doesn't work because everyone's like too drunk or whatever. You can't get in your head and go, oh, my material's not working. It's just the circumstance of the night. It's the people who came in with their own shit. And then you do it again on Saturday and you're like, it works. And it's a real mind fuck. But yeah, you just kind of, the shows that don't go well on the weekend, you can't beat yourself up about it. And then you can't just be like, well, how do I like tinker this? That it's like, no, it is just the time of day, the type of people, something just isn't working. But yeah, you do have to kind of sit in a bomb. I've bombed so many times. I don't like it, but it doesn't bother me. I'm not going to like freak out on stage. I'll pivot to crowd work, or maybe I'll do older stuff, or I'll tell a story, or I'll just, tell a story of something that happened like that week that's not a part of my act. But yeah, you do have to fail a bunch.
What was your childhood and upbringing like? I'm always curious about comedians with it, because sometimes you'll talk to people and be like, oh, it was like the greatest thing ever, and I just laughed all the time. And some people, like, they come from a real, like, we just had Miss Pat on, and she's like, I came from a real dark place.
Oh yeah, she been shot a whole bunch and them titties saved her.
Yeah.
I love Miss Pat. She's so funny.
She's the fucking best.
I love her so
the entire
much.
time with her.
She's great. Wow. Haven't really laughed with me. Okay. Guess I'll try harder.
We'll laugh with you. Don't worry. Don't worry.
No, it's okay. I laughed by myself. My upbringing was fine. I had parents, and then, I guess it wasn't fine. They died.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
I shouldn't be laughing at that part.
Well, I mean, the way I presented it was wild. My mom died when I was 16, and my dad died when I was 21. So, like, that wasn't fun. But before that, it was pretty fun. I have a sibling, a sister. We're like a year and a half apart. So, like, we did everything together. But she's not a comedian. She teaches and she likes children. And I don't get it.
You know what I said to my friend who's in here today? I said, she's like, I don't like when kids like giggle. And I said, I get it. I don't really like it either. But if it's your own kids, it's different. It's different with your own kids, isn't it?
I like when kids do. I think you guys are just dark. Like I like when kids. I like to hear kids' laughter.
She's saying like when they talk. Sorry,
when they make themselves known. When they show.
No, I get it. I don't like children.
You know what? A lot of people don't. I get it. It's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back at what happened to your parents, did you use comedy to get you through their deaths, or was that not even a tool that you brought out?
I think most people use comedy to get through tragedy. I think